Okay, so what do we start with? What to pre-ban, maybe. Okay, so for pre-bans, you have a few options. I think the best pre-bans are Frieren is really strong. RCT is really strong. Meru, like Lady of the Scales, is definitely a very valid pre-ban. Arunka is a very valid pre-ban. And you can potentially pre-ban Rinak. Now, I think depending on like how you play and the pick order, you can actually change your pre-bans. So I think for first pick, you always, in my opinion, you always want to pre-ban RCT. Because if you don't pre-ban RCT as first pick and your opponent doesn't, you lose all the... like the entire point of first pick is that you dictate the tempo of the draft. Because you get 3 picks when they only get 2. So you get to actually dictate the tempo of the draft and like play aggressive, basically. The thing is, if RCT is not pre-ban, you lose that opportunity to play aggressive because you cannot pick any fast unit because your opponent can just go RCT on 3 and completely negate your speed, right? So you cannot pick any fast unit, which makes it so you're forced to like play passive on 1-3, and playing passive on 1-3 is really bad because then your opponent gets the initiative. And then they get to pick 4 units with the initiative, and then you're kind of fucked, basically. And like, you only have 1 unit to answer them. Because the other one's gonna get pre-banned. So they pick 4 units, and you only like you have 3 passive units, they have 4 aggressive units, and then you only have 1 unit to answer them because the other one gets pre-banned, post-banned, so it's not really, yeah, it's really rough. So I think for first pick, you should always pre-ban RCT. But you can also gamble and not do it. But yeah, I think you should pre-ban RCT. And then for the second unit, it's really up to you. I don't think you should ever pre-ban Meru as first pick. She's definitely the most broken unit in the game. You really want to pick her yourself. But I mean, if you don't like her, it's fine. You can just like pre-ban her then. But you definitely should always try to abuse Meru. She's extremely broken. But then you can ban Frieren is really annoying to deal with, especially if your opponent like. I think Frieren is a better second pick unit than first pick unit because she requires a lot of answers. She's really annoying overall. So like when I'm first pick, I want to have the initiative. If my opponent picks Frieren on 2, then I kinda lose some of that initiative because I need to answer Frieren. I can just draft whatever I want. I need to answer Frieren because she's extremely broken and she can 1v4 my team if I don't pick an answer, right? So I think Frieren is a good pre-ban, but otherwise you can gamble, pre-ban Arunka, you can pre-ban Meru if you want, you can pre-ban Rinak if you don't like her, you can even pre-ban Tenebria, I think it's okay if you really dislike her, but yeah, those are your options as first pick. You can also, I've seen some people do it, I don't know if I have it in my history, not this. Like you have a few dumbasses doing it this season, it's really annoying. No. Okay. So, if you're first pick, you can actually just pre-ban if you just pre-ban one of Meru or Arunka, and your opponent doesn't pre-ban the other, right? You basically, you have a very good shot at winning the game. Because the thing is, Meru and Arunka are like the 2 most broken units by far. Like it's not really close in my opinion. Like they really define the game. So you can just like pre-ban one of those and pick the other. And your opponent is gonna be like in a pretty tough spot. And you can even push this a bit further by, like I've seen, I know, what's his name? Tetsu does it. I know Tetsu does that. One of the MLRIA rep does it. It's really annoying too. Where is this dumbass? I don't know. I mean, it's in Legend somewhere. Like MLRIA rep does it as well. Like what they do, I don't know if they only do it against me or if they just do it like every game. But as I said, like I pre-ban Frieren, and Seti, right? And then as first pick, they just pre-ban the other two. So they're gonna pre-ban Arunka and Rinak, and they're gonna first pick Meru. And then, like, it's unless my opponent is actually like insanely bad at the game, it's impossible for me to win. Like, if your opponent is first pick and you need, like, the 4 most broken units are Rinak, Frieren, Arunka, Meru. If 3 of them are banned, and your opponent pick the 4th, you can FF. Like, the game is actually over. Like, it's actually, there's no point in playing. Like, first pick is already extremely advantaged. If they get one of the Giga broken units and you get nothing, you can just go next. Like, there's no point in playing. So this is also an option. If you want to gamble on bans, you can just pre-ban one of Meru or Arunka and try to play the other, basically. Alright. Now, as second pick, you have more options. I don't think second pick needs to pre-ban Arceti. I do it because I don't like her. I don't think second pick needs to pre-ban Frieren. I do it because I don't like her. What you can do as second pick, and in my opinion, like the best pre-ban, the best pre-bans as second pick, Meru. You should pre-ban Meru. As second pick, you definitely should pre-ban Meru. She's beyond broken. If you look at win rate, she's much higher than anything else. Like, there's nothing else, there's nothing that comes really close to her win rate. Except maybe, like, I think Frieren is really high too, but yeah, like, Meru is just beyond broken. Like, if you really want to, like, the best pre-ban as second pick, it's Meru for sure. Like, you pre-ban Meru. And then for the second pre-ban, it's kind of up to you. I like, I think I thought a few. I like those pre-bans. I think those are the best second pick pre-ban. You pre-ban Arunka Meru, then you can pick, if your opponent doesn't pre-ban it, you can pick Frieren yourself. You can pick, you have a lot more options basically. And then if they don't pre-ban Arceti, you're in a very good spot because you can just abuse Arceti yourself, right? Your second pick, Arceti is open. Your opponent cannot play anything aggressive, so you're in a pretty good spot. So yeah, second pick, in my opinion, Arunka Meru. Otherwise, Meru plus something, in my opinion, is best. Like, Meru plus anything you dislike. It's just, I really don't think, if your opponent gets Meru, they already have a very, very good chance of winning the game. In my opinion. Like, Meru is beyond broken, so yeah. You should at least pre-ban Meru. I think Arunka is manageable, but Meru is definitely not. So those are pre-bans. Let's look at the Frenzy real quick, because we have a few, and like see what they change. So offense, increase warrior defense penetration. This is only really, this doesn't affect that many units. It mostly affects ML Wayong, and by extension Ras, and it affects LHC. So LHC in this Frenzy deals a shit ton of damage, so it makes picking Setsuka a bit harder overall. And I guess mostly Setsuka, yeah. ML Tenebria can just not press. So mostly Setsuka. This makes LHC a lot stronger, and this makes Wayong stronger, which makes Ras weaker, right? It's harder to pick Ras when Wayong just one-taps him without Soul Burn, obviously. So, yeah. Maid FCC is top tier. Maid FCC is top tier in defense, not in offense. In offense, I don't think it really affects Knights all that much. I think Inav is still good, because most of the pen units aren't warriors overall. I think Inav is still really good. It just, like, yeah, it mostly just affects LHC and Wayong. Those are the main thing. And if your opponent plays slow, that's one thing. If your opponent plays really slow with Ilinav, you can actually just pick strays into Ilinav. Like, I've picked my strays isn't really that high damage. And I've killed Ilinav through, with the Pen Frenzy. I've killed Ilinav. Without, like, buffs or anything. Granted, it's gonna be really close, but yeah, you can actually just kill with strays. So, yeah, this is the Offense Frenzy. Now, Defense Frenzy, it's gonna affect a lot of units. Strays is basically unpickable. Strays is unpickable unless you're cleaving with Amid. Ras is unplayable, which is really annoying. Rinak is a lot worse. Like, I think Rinak should be really high priority overall, but in Defense Frenzy, you can actually just prioritize Maid, because, like, over Rinak, because if you pick Rinak into Defense Frenzy and your opponent just picks Maid, your Rinak's gonna do absolutely no damage the entire game. Like, a Rest 3 is gonna do 0 damage, a Rest 2 is gonna do 0 damage, and Maid is gonna heal any cheap damage she does, so it becomes really awkward. So yeah, Rat is unpickable. Rinak becomes definitely Rinak goes down on the priority list. What else do we have? Frieren does less damage, but doesn't really matter all that much. LHC becomes pretty bad. Like, LHC actually becomes pretty bad overall because her damage gets nerfed a lot. Celine also deals a lot less damage. Like, if you see your opponent go like Celine or Sermia in Defense Frenzy, if you just pick like Siarmin or Ilinav as mitigation, they're gonna do 0 damage, like actually 0 damage. Or even if you just go FCC. Sage Ball becomes basically unclickable because it does no damage. And I think that's mostly it. Yeah, and Guy does less damage, but you know. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Oh, and Yuquin does 0 damage as well. Like, Yuquin S3, after she S3, she gets pen on S1. Like 70% pen. That means she does absolutely 0 damage in Defense Frenzy, which is pretty annoying. Oh, and Fern as well. Fuck, man. Fern needs a... She's pretty good, but... she's so close to being really good. Yeah. What can you do? Well, let's put the music back on. So, yeah. That's for Defense Frenzy. Then the other two Frenzy are kinda whatever overall. Burn Frenzy doesn't really change anything. I don't think you ever change your draft because of Burn Frenzy. It makes unit like SBA a bit better, right? Like she's a bit better, but I think any game you'd want to pick SBA, you would pick her even without the Defense Frenzy, even without the Burn Frenzy. Like, I don't think you really care for it. So, like, I don't think it really changed anything. So, yeah, I think this Frenzy has like 0 impact. And Resistance, in my opinion, Resistance, you can play around it to some extent, but it's mostly good for Belayan, in my opinion. Like, it makes units, so you can't really early pick, like, I don't think Tenebria cares all that much. For debuffers, I don't think Tenebria cares all that much. DDR definitely cares. You can play DDR in ER Frenzy, but it's gonna make him a lot worse because now your DDR cannot... he's gonna land himself, right? He's most likely gonna land himself, but your team cannot land anymore. Because your team only gets 50 effectiveness, so your team is gonna get resisted a lot on the Venom, and it's gonna make DDR a lot worse. It makes... But yeah, the main thing is it makes Luna not pickable early, right? Because if I early pick Luna, like let's say I pick Luna on 1-3 in ER Frenzy, my opponent goes Belayan on 3, I'm -1 unit. Like, my Luna has 8 effectiveness, I'm never gonna land anything the entire game. I can defense break, I can seal. So yeah, Luna becomes a late pick only, basically, because she's hard countered by Belayan. And in the same vein, Raz becomes a bit awkward, because if your opponent picks Belayan, you can't S2 anymore. I mean, you can S2, right? But you're not gonna get Ignore ER, and since everything is 100 ER, you're never gonna land your seal and collapse, which is obviously pretty bad. Oh, and FCC is pretty bad in ER Frenzy too. Surprisingly. One of the things with FCC is that her S3 is really, really strong. It dispels everything. It transfers debuffs potentially. This is really strong against stuff like Maid, right? Because Maid cannot really press S3 because it's gonna get removed. Same for Frieren to some extent. Your S3 dispels everything. So if you play Frieren into Maid, you can just, like, Maid is forced to hold her S3 until you S3, which is really annoying. This isn't true in ER Frenzy, because everything is 100 ER. So they lose their streak basically, which is really, it's pretty annoying for them. They lose their streak. I think that's mostly it for ER Frenzy. I don't really see anything else. Yeah, I think that, like those are the main things for ER Frenzy. Alright. Most important issue for most would be Setsuka. You think so? Okay. I mean, I'll cover units now anyway. Okay, so we did frenzies, we did pre-bans. Now let's have a look at like units, what to draft, and like how to counter them. Okay. So right now, I'm waiting for the full patch notes to be there, Ari. Like I just saw the video, but I'm waiting for like the notes. So priority for picks is Meru number 1. She's beyond broken. Like Meru is beyond broken. And then it's Arunka for sure. Arunka is like still crazy strong. You have Rinak, but only outside of Defense Frenzy. In Defense Frenzy, her priority goes down a bit. And then you have Maid is really strong. Maid is really strong. And I think that's it for early picks. Oh, and Luna if Belian is pre-banned. If Belian is pre-banned, Luna is really important to pick. Alright. Then how to count? Okay, this is like the unit priority for like early picks, right? Like I won't go to like late picks because then like it's too complicated. It's gonna take forever to like cover every scenarios. So now I'm gonna go through like the meta units, like the strongest meta units and how to counter them, right? So let's start, like as you said, let's start with Setsuka because I know like she's picked a lot, right? She's picked a lot, and I think some people struggle against her. So yeah, let's go with Setsuka. So the main thing with Setsuka is, I mean, if you see Setsuka early pick, you have a very simple counter, and that would be this. You pick Mort on 3. Like if someone early picks Setsuka, you can just go Mort, and then like Setsuka is completely useless. You just build like you don't even need him protection set. Mine is protection set because I don't really use him as like a carry. But like as dumb as it sounds, Mort completely shits on Setsuka. The main thing you have to pay attention to, if someone goes Setsuka early and you go Mort, they're gonna go Luna. So you need to pick Luna yourself. That's actually pretty important. Like if you see like Setsuka on 2 for instance, you can just go Luna Mort. And then they're -1 unit, and you have 2 pretty strong units yourself. So this is one option. Then as late pick Setsuka, which is what you're gonna see most, you have a few options. But the main thing is gonna be obviously LHC is really strong into Setsuka. Like I'm pretty sure she is like 70+% win rate into her at the very least. Like LH is a very strong counter to Setsuka. You do need symbol though. Like don't go Golden Rose. I think it's pretty bad. Like Golden Rose is nice in theory, but yeah. Like just go symbol so you can actually eat. And then you can also like again you can late pick Mort. It's always an option. Late pick Mort is pretty easy. It's a pretty simple counter to Setsuka if you don't draft 2 passive on 1/3. And I think then Luna, right? Like Luna and DDR are pretty good. Luna is pretty good overall, and DDR is pretty good overall. I need to re-gear him, but yeah. Like both are pretty good options into Setsuka. Tenebria is playable into Setsuka, but she can be awkward because if you land sleep or even worse provoke, it becomes really awkward for Tenebria. So Tenebria can be somewhat okay, but she's definitely not the greatest. So those are your options into Setsuka. Oh, Shuriken, thank you for the raid, appreciate it. Hope your stream went well. Welcome everyone. Don't look, wait, why? Do we play LHC lifesteal? No, no, you play this LHC. Yeah, you play this. You go destruction and symbol. The thing is, LHC doesn't take damage from counters, right? She takes 50% less damage from counters. So Setsuka doesn't do any damage to her, like at all. Like she doesn't do any damage at all. So you don't need lifesteal. You just need to like do damage and kill everything. Right. So this is for Setsuka. What are the broken units? Let's say Setsuka, we have Frieren, we have Rinak, we have Arunka, we have Meru, right? I think those are the 5. I don't think Setsuka is that broken, just she's very popular, so I think it's fine to cover her. Maybe we can cover Tenebria as well. Those no one cares, no one cares. Okay, Rinak. Tenebria sucks when your DPS die, yeah, basically. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Rinak. So Rinak is obviously extremely strong, right? But she's a bit more manageable right now because of Maid and FCC. So the best thing you can do is like, I mean, yeah, that's really it actually. You just pick like, let's say I'm first pick, right? My opponent goes, I'm first pick. I pick Arunka, for instance. My opponent is gonna go Rinak something. I'm just gonna go FCC 3. And then that's gonna be it for Rinak. Like, I won't really bother with more. You just need to have either Maid or FCC in your team. That's the main thing. You don't really want both, in my opinion. I'd rather just have like Maid Ilina, for instance, than Maid FCC. The reason you pick Maid FCC is because you want to abuse Rinak yourself, or you want to like pick Belayan maybe, stuff like that. Like Maid FCC is for very specific scenarios. You just need one or the other, and you should be fine into Rinak. One of the main thing with Rinak is you need tempo on your team, basically. Like if you play slow into Rinak, you're gonna die. It's simple as that. If you play too slow into Rinak, she's gonna get too many turns. She's gonna S2 your entire team, and she's gonna become too big basically for you to deal with, and then you'll eventually gonna die. Like, I mean, the last game I played was a pretty good example, right? The guy went like really passive, and then Rinak just takes over eventually, right? Like, even if he goes Tenebria, it doesn't really have, like, it's just too low on like tempo, basically, right? So like, Rinak just gets too big and then it's just over. She's just gonna one-tap everything. So, yeah. You can play too slow into Rinak. So, that's one of the main thing one of the main best advice I can give you to play into Rinak is to not play too slow, as dumb as it sounds. And I think just a good thing for like this season overall, you should never play too slow. Like the time of like picking 3 tanks 1-3 is too low. It's gone. Like you can just pick 3 tanks. You're gonna die. Like you have too many tank breakers basically. Like you are a stall breakers. Like you have Tenebria, you have Rinak, you are it's not gonna work. Check patch notes, okay. So I think that's about it for Rinak. It's not that much, but yeah. Also, if your opponent plays too aggressive, you can just 0 them potentially, but that's for when Belayan is pre-banned. So, anyone cares about Amid? Does anyone still struggle with Amid? I feel like she's kinda dead, but I mean, you never know. Okay, so Amid. Okay, Amid is pretty easy to counter actually, like you have plenty of options. I mean, Setsuka is pretty good into her because she's gonna want to pick 2 carries. Politis is pretty good into her. Eda on Warhorn is pretty good into her, but you need Warhorn. Amiki can be a decent last pick, depending on what they go for. Frieren is pretty annoying because she's immune to damage. Ilinav reduces eruption a bit. Belayan, no, Belayan is kind of whatever into her. Kairon can be a really good pick into Amid potentially, like on 4-5. It can be a really annoying unit to deal with. Sage Ball is always pretty annoying to deal with, so it's always nice. And then just you Finn, right? Like you just cut her tempo and then it's free basically. But this all comes down to you picking somewhat aggressive, right? You got some. Yeah, I need to rebuild him. I made a lifesteal one to play with Frieren, but I pre-ban Frieren, so I'm gonna change him. But this is pretty good if you play with Frieren, though. But yeah. So yeah, I mean the main thing for you just need to like to cut her like disrupt her turn, right? So yeah, like Yufin is really good, Politis is really good, Warhorneda is really good, and then just Kairon if you want to tank down. Like all of those are like pretty decent options. And like even simply just Setsuka gonna make the game a lot more RNG for your opponent. But yeah, like, honestly, it's pretty bad right now, so. Rinak, we went. Okay, Frieren. She needs a massive pain in the ass, so I just pre-ban her myself. Because, again, she's a massive pain in the ass. Now, if you don't want to pre-ban her, she doesn't have that many counters. Like, she's beyond broken. She doesn't have that many counters. Good units into her are Rinak. Rinak is pretty good. Even if you don't kill her, you still take 20% of her stats, which is really nice. Rinak is pretty good into her. Setsuka is really good into her. Like she's red, she's never gonna get hit, and she's gonna make it a lot more awkward for Frieren to deal damage. Right? Frieren is really good. Eda is potentially pretty good depending on the comp. Again, Warhorn Eda, fast Warhorn Eda. If your opponent tries to cleave you with Frieren, it's pretty strong. Because you're gonna take the turn after. So let's say my opponent goes like Amid Frieren, right? Amid S2, Amid S3, Frieren S3, and then before she gets another turn, I have Eda going. She doesn't have stealth anymore. She's gonna kill everything. So Warhorn Eda, pretty good. Then what do we have? Eula can be okay, potentially against cleave. That's about it. If your opponent doesn't straight up cleave you, you don't wanna pick Eula. Belayan obviously can be is pretty good, because then you can actually do damage to Frieren, which is really nice. So if Belayan is open, you should pretty much always pick her. But it can be annoying because they're gonna go Frieren plus debuffers, plus revivers, sorry. So you can just go. It's not just Belayan. You need to like be proactive in your draft. It's not just I'm taking down with Belayan. It's I'm picking Belayan and then I'm actually like killing them, right? Is it oh yeah, I just regeared Amid yesterday, but like I haven't drafted her in forever. She's useless right now. Amid is pretty bad right now. You only want to play Amid if you play Frieren, realistically, I think. So yeah, I don't think Amid like really matters right now. Then what do we have? Arunka is kinda whatever. Ilinav is pretty good at cutting her damage, right? Because of the pen resist. So this is nice. Ras is really bad into her. Crown of Glory LRK is actually pretty good. But Crown of Glory LRK mostly work into like if you early pick LRK, you're gonna get cleaved, basically. Like if you early pick LRK, you're gonna get cleaved. So LRK is a good answer as a late pick. Like if your opponent goes Frieren early and then they pick like defensive, then LRK is really good. Because then your opponent has 0 damage, basically. Because Frieren into LRK doesn't do any damage. So this is actually pretty good as like a mid to late pick. Just don't early pick him because you're gonna get cleaved. So LRK, Celine is actually pretty good into Frieren if, but only if you have Arunka. You just either behind Arunka and you can just tank down forever basically. So Celine is actually decent. Chiron is pretty good because it just kills her with a 3, right? But you need to have there need to be it's a bit awkward. Like again, it's a late pick because it doesn't work into Maid, it doesn't work into Ruele because they just revive, and then they can always just pick like Elvira or some shit, right? So be mindful of like when you pick Chiron, but he's actually still a decent option as a late pick. Luna is pretty good because she shields her. And Tenebria can be okay. She's not crazy, but she's okay. I don't cover Meru in all of those because Meru counters the entire game, so. And I think that's mostly it. Pera can be okay because of the extra damage, but RCT is pretty good if she's open. Like you have this, you can potentially go Crown as well, just stun her. Which is pretty annoying for Frieren. And DDR is really good into Frieren. DDR is really good into Frieren because, I mean, okay, not really good, he's good into Frieren. Because if you S3 and you land your sleep, she can't wake up. Even if you hit her, she can't wake up because she doesn't take damage. So she's basically slept forever and you can just like hit away and take her souls. The thing is, if you miss your S3, it is only strip, right? So if you don't land your S3, then you're kind of fucked because she's just gonna spam S1 and get immunity up every turn, and then DDR is completely useless. So yeah, DDR can be good, but can get fucked pretty easily. I think that's mostly it for Frieren. I don't really think. I mean, you can pick stuff like Carrot if you want, but those don't really work unless your opponent drafts like really poorly, I feel like. And even then, if you just miss your strip, you just lose. So like if you miss Soulburn, you just lose. So it's still awkward. Okay, Frieren. What should I put my top speed on? Probably Rinak, yeah. I mean, look, if you want, look at my... There you go. Like, Rinak is the only important unit to have fast if you play slow, in my opinion. Like, the rest doesn't really matter. Like, I made a fast Luna because sometimes I clip with her, but that's it. Yeah, like, speed doesn't really matter on anyone. Aside from Rinak. Alright. Who else is annoying to deal with? Arunka. How do you even deal with Arunka? Like, actually, how do you even deal with Arunka? Like, actually, I have no idea. It is so broken. Hmm. Yeah, I feel right, Megalevia, because it's not really. Yeah, it's. I don't feel like there's like a specific answer to Arunka. Like I feel like you just like draft somewhat normally, and then. Yeah, like you don't really. I don't think you can really play around Arunka. It's just you have to accept that she's there basically. And like you draft around like the rest of their units. You don't really draft around her. Yeah, exactly. GSS. Yeah, like okay, yeah. I think Arunka like she doesn't really have like a specific answer. Like she's just there to hide her team, so it depends on like what the rest of the team is, right? Like by herself, she doesn't really, yeah. She's just there basically. So yeah, I don't really have like an answer for that. Okay. And then Tenebria, I know Tenebria is pretty annoying. So Tenebria, you have a few options actually. Depends where she's picked in the draft overall. Tenebria, what you can do is Setsuka is actually okay into her. It's not crazy good, but it's not too bad. Setsuka is actually not that bad into her because unless she lands her stun, like Obviously, you don't pick Setsuka as like a counter to Tenebria. It's just if your opponent plays really aggressive, so like 2 or 3 DPS, and then they go Tenebria, Setsuka is actually good. Like it's not a bad pick because unless she stuns you, you don't really care for like sleep, and you don't care that much for sleep, and you don't care at all for provoke. So it's not that bad. Ada is pretty good. Like if she strips you, then you just get your S2 up, and then you do a lot of damage, and you defense break and stuff. So it's pretty strong. Fern is actually playable. Fern's actually not bad into Tenebria. Like I play her from time to time because she cycles so fast that you don't care that much, right? Like she's gonna like maybe stun or sleep you turn 1, and then what? Like then nothing's gonna happen. Like you're just gonna start taking turns, and then so Fern's actually not too bad. Mort is pretty good because he can be slept, he can be stunned. So he's actually pretty good into her overall. He can take turns easy. He can actually just like still play the game. Christie can be okay potentially. Like you can hide something behind Christie and then they shouldn't get debuffed. LHC is pretty good because then she can't really press a 3, which is nice. But be very mindful of like where you pick LHC. Like LHC is good if your opponent goes like Tenebria Setsuka, it's great because she can actually play the game. But if they just go Tenebria and that's it, you can't really go LHC because they're just not gonna press, or they're gonna wait for your LHC. Like if they have multiple units that can proc LHC, they're gonna proc LHC and then they're gonna S3 Tenebria and then you're gonna lose. So LHC is good into Tenebria Setsuka, but like that's it really. It's like the combo. Outside of that, she's not very good. Rice is obviously pretty good, just not in defense frenzy because he does 0 damage. Candy is really good, depending on the draft. The main thing with Candy is she doesn't actually protect herself. Like she doesn't get the crit, anti-crit on herself, so she's gonna get debuffed. But the debuff doesn't really matter because she's immune to stun and sleep. So at worst, she's getting provoked. The main thing is she's still gonna get debuffed by she's still gonna get debuffed, right? So she's gonna get block, and you can't if you go like for instance Candy Maid is pretty bad because your Maid cannot cleanse your Candy. So you're gonna lose defense buff, you're gonna lose revive, for instance. So it's actually pretty bad. But Candy can definitely be pretty good into aggressive drafts because Tenebria loses her first 3 basically, which is really important. So Kenny is actually pretty decent pick. Kairon is really good. As long as you have immunity on him and a protection set on your team, she can strip you, right? Because you have counter, barrier, and immunity. So she can even strip you. You still get, you still have immunity, so you're hard to kill. And then, even if you do get debuffed eventually, you're gonna full cleanse and push, and then kill everything. So Kairon, pretty good answer to Tenebria. Luna doesn't really do anything into her. SSV is too awkward. So, Rose is actually okay. Like, for the same reason as Candy, she's even slightly better because Rose actually just, she gives anti-crit to herself as well, so she can actually take a turn. So this is really nice, you keep your immunity. So Rose is actually a pretty decent pick into Tenebria. But you need to have a proactive team, right? If you don't have a proactive team, you're gonna limit your options a lot, basically. This is what, like, I'm getting back to what I was saying earlier, to like, don't play too passive. The more aggressive you play, the more options you have, basically. Like, if I play 3 supports, I can pick Rose, because I have 3 supports. So, like, I'm forced into Candy, basically. Whereas, if I draft somewhat aggressive, if I have like 1 or 2 proactive units, I can actually just play Rose. Because then I already have like useful units in my team, right? And then Wyong, obviously, like immune to debuffs. Yeah. Wyong is actually okay. It's just Wyong is awkward overall, right? So you have to be very mindful of like where you draft her. Which is actually a decent pick into Tenebria, sometimes. It's pretty niche overall. I think that's mostly it. I mean, then you can cleaver with Yo if you want, and you can cleaver with Lua, but yeah, like this is pretty niche, so. Right. Tenebria, and then Meru, I guess. Like, I don't think there's anything else that's to... Oh, I guess we'll cover Briseria as well, because I know some people are dying to it. Okay, so Meru and Briseria, okay. Maid Ruele. Oh yeah, those you just... Okay, I'll cover Maid Ruele then, I guess. Because you can actually just kill them with Briseria. Okay, so I'll cover how to cleave people as well later. Okay, so Meru. Okay, Meru is beyond broken. Like, realistically, you can't really... Like, she isn't fightable. Like, you have a few options, but she's beyond broken. Like, it's actually stupid. Like, it's insane how broken this unit is. So, Meru. What are good units into her? Arunka can be okay. I mean, obviously, if your opponent has Meru, you cannot want Arunka. Because then she's forced to burn to AoE. Like, one thing with Meru that's extremely broken is that she can actually just spam S1 and still fear your entire team. I think I have an example of that. I played one game yesterday with Lendy. Where is it? Yes. This is one of the things that makes Meru giga broken. So, she's on the soul artifact, like Mostar, right? So I have a Lendy here, so it should be a free game, right? Lendy is feared. Lendy is feared. Lendy is feared. And I got a turn right here. It's turn 30. This is my first turn with Lendy. Like... what? Like, I don't know. What? Like, this is a Soul Weaver. Like, she basically has an AoE stun every turn. Like, that can be right. So, yeah, this is why you, like... Arunka can be okay, but then you need Belaya. Belaya and Arunka is really good into Meru overall, in my opinion. If you can actually, like... If the draft allows it. Because then she can soul burn, which is really nice, right? She can soul burn, she can't AoE fear your team, and she's forced to just hit your Arunka, who doesn't really give a fuck. So yeah, Arunka can be good with Belayan. Belayan by herself is okay-ish, but not crazy, because, I mean, she has a lot of counters. Setsuka is okay-ish, nothing too crazy either. I think one of the main answer you're gonna see to Meru is probably gonna be Arunka 1, right? So you pick Arunka 1 and then Selene on 3. Selene on photogenic. And then as long as you can protect your Selene, you can just like kill everything fairly fast, which is really nice. But this is weak to like quite a few things, so yeah. But Selene on photogenic is definitely like gonna be like one of the main answers. Wyong is in theory really good because she ignored damage reduction and damage sharing. In practice, she's a bit awkward because let's say I'm facing Meru and Ras, right? You might think, hey, Meru and Ras sounds like a great game for Wyong. Actually, because they're gonna put Ras in the front, and then Wyong cannot kill Ras early. And because Ras is gonna have, because the entire enemy team is gonna have extra fixed damage, thanks to this, it's gonna be really easy for your opponent to just kill your Wyong. So Wyong can be okay, but again in very specific scenarios. Aside from that, if you face Meru, you should pretty much always tank down. Meru is at her core a pretty aggressive unit, which means if you draft Meru, you mostly want to play aggressive. You don't really want to play slow. And the best thing you can do into Meru is just like play slow yourself. She's basically impossible to cleave. Like if your opponent plays like you cannot cleave Meru, it's impossible. Like if you want to cleave, like play aggressive into Meru, you have to post ban Meru. You don't have a choice. Like almost don't have a choice. You can potentially do it with like Frieren and Caval, but it's very niche. Like aside from that, if you play Meru, you're probably gonna have to play slow. And yeah, if you play slow, then you have like quite a few options. Like again, Setsuka can be okay. Lifesteal Yufin is actually pretty good into her, because like you're gonna prog the front line really fast, right? With Yufin, you're gonna prog the front line really fast, the immortality, and then you can just S3 and kill everything. So Yufin is really good at dealing with Meru if your opponent plays slow. Rinak is really good as well because you simply proc everything really fast. Like you proc the front line really fast with Rinak. Like you S2, S3, the front line is pretty much gonna proc already. So yeah, Rinak can be really good. Aside from that, I think that's about it. Yeah, like the thing is you can't really do damage into her. So like it's just like slow stall units, like Yufin, and otherwise, or debuffer. She's really bad into debuffers, right? So like Tenebria is really good. Luna is not that good, but Tenebria is really good. Tenebria is really good into Meru, if you can somehow fit her into your draft. What do you think about the EEs? They look useless. I think Luluka is still gonna be completely useless. And I think Laia might see some play, maybe, but it's a very big maybe. Because I don't think it's enough for Laia either. Alright, Meru. And what else? We did Tenebria. Okay, let's cover Briseria, Maid, and Ruele, okay? We'll do maybe all of them at... okay, maybe let's start with like Ruele Maid. So, Ruele Maid... can be weak to Briseria. The main thing is Briseria is the first pick unit. Like it's really hard to cleave a second pick. So ideally Briseria, if you see your opponent early draft Maid or Ruele, you can go Briseria, but only if you're first pick in my opinion. And then what you're gonna play with Briseria is gonna be, so, Meru, ideally. You really want Meru in your team to play stuff like that. If you don't have Meru, that means Meru is pre-banned. In which case, I don't think you can... Okay. I don't think you can go Arunka, Briseria. I think it's pretty bad. I think Rinak, Briseria is okay. Can be risky, but Rinak, Briseria can be okay. So, yeah. If you're first pick and you have Meru first pick, or if you have Rinak first pick, you can go Briseria 3 if your opponent goes Ruele or Maid on 1 or 2. That's actually playable. Keep in mind, it can be, it's pretty awkward to play into Arunka. So like it's a very specific scenario. So like you have Meru, your opponent doesn't have Arunka, and they go Ruele or Maid. Then you can actually consider Briseria. I don't know if I have drafts. Wait, I can show you. Because that'd be easier actually. Yeah, this is a good example. So here, I have Meru first pick, right, which is really important. My opponent goes Ruele on 2. So I decide, okay, I'm just gonna cleave. So here, if I was, what's it called? If Belian wasn't pre-banned, I would just pick Flan on 2. I would either pick Flan or 2 or Rinak on 2. Belian is pre-banned, so I'm just gonna go for Luna. And I go Briseria on 3. And then my opponent has to answer this. And yeah, like there just isn't that much they can pick. Like they already have 2 useless units, kinda. So they went for Wayong for some reason and Gakatis, and then I can just pick whatever the fuck I want from there, basically. Like Wayong is not very a strong unit, and Akatis. The thing with Akatis is you need something to push, right? And so ideally you want a debuffer. And this guy had like nothing to push. Like even if he push, like he's not gonna push anything useful. So I just pick 2 nukers for 5 and then like 2 nukers that can survive Arunka. Wyong, sorry. Two nukers that can survive Wyong on 4-5 and then the game is GG. But yeah, I don't think I have that many cleave. This isn't Briseria cleave though. I wanted to show Briseria cleave, but yeah, I don't have much actually. Yeah, I don't have any. Alright. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing. But yeah, Briseria is really niche, so I'm just gonna tell you how to counter her because it's even like it's much easier. Like she's really weak to Ilinav. Like Ilinav is if you give your Ilinav speed boots, it's really awkward for Briseria because she can never ever press. She can never ever press, which is really annoying for her because she really wants to press. So Ilinav really strong. Arunka really strong because one of the best combo with Briseria is Flan. But then if you have Arunka, that kinda kills the Flan is kinda useless. Arunka is really good. Rinak is really good. Like Rinak is extremely annoying to deal with if you try to play aggressive because realistically she should outspeed your opponent unless you pick Zio. And Zio is pretty bad, so you never wanna pick Zio. So if you want to cleave right now, you kinda wanna do it without Zio. And if your opponent goes Rinak, you cannot do that. Which means if your opponent goes Rinak, you basically cannot cleave. Yeah, like that. If your opponent goes Rinak, you basically cannot cleave. Or like it becomes really hard. So Rinak is really strong against cleave in general. What else did I struggle with when I went for Briseria? Belen is actually useless because you don't care if you burn or not. Frieren is obviously broken as fuck. Like, you cannot cleave Frieren. That's, like, she's impossible to cleave. Because she's gonna push her team on any AoE. She's immune to damage, so you need to draft really weird stuff. Yeah, like, Frieren is just really, just a massive pain in the ass. So, Frieren completely negates, like, most cleaves. Then, Belian is useless. Ras is useless unless they go Zio. Ball can be annoying. Ball can actually be annoying. Because again, Briseria cleave is basically just like pushing your team with Briseria. So if you have Sage Ball, it can be really annoying for your opponent. And I think that's mostly it. Arcatis can be good if you have something to push. If you don't, she's useless. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's pretty good already. So yeah, those are like the counters to Briseria. Like, she's not bad right now, but she's definitely very beatable. Like, she's definitely very beatable. The main thing for like Briseria is gonna be, but it's not really Briseria, it's just, if you first pick Meru, then you can pick anything you want, basically, because she's just that broken. Like, that's why, like, when you see Briseria cleave, I usually have Meru. Like, it's not Briseria, it's just Meru. Like, you can do anything you want with this unit. She's beyond broken. Like, I mean, your team is basically immune to damage, so... And then she pushes a lot, and then she fears the entire enemy team, and then she gives you souls, and like, yeah. It's just nonsense. So, yeah. But yeah, if your opponent early picks like Maid and Ruele, and then if you're in the right scenario, you can just clear with Briseria, but... Yeah. It's definitely very niche. It's definitely very niche. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's it for like, I think we did all the units.